Part of the beauty of a great magic trick is the not knowing, the willingness to accept the illusion, and the joy of being fooled. Although, here are 5 of the greatest magic tricks finally revealed. Number 5. Criss Angelslevitation. Criss Angel levitated on the street with audiences just a few feet away from him, making it seem impossible that he'd used any kind of prop or mechanical device to rise off the ground. Angel himself describes his technique and how he does it. Sadly, it boils down to nothing more than keeping audiences behind him while he removes one foot from the shell of his shoe and steps upwards with the now hidden leg. Meanwhile, his shoe and pants leg remain behind, slowly rising as he hoists himself up on the now invisible leg and creating the impression that both of Angel's feet are in the air. Number 4. Double bullet catch. Penn and Teller. Penn and Teller take the bullet catch stunt to a whole new level. They ask 2 audience members to sign the bullets, clearing up accusations of sleight of hand, set up a glass pane between them to demonstrate the bullets being fired, employ laser sights to show their targets, and attempt to catch the slugs in their mouths. So, how do they do it? Essentially, the magicians swiftly exchange the signed bullets with wax ones, loading these duplicates into their guns. The falsies are immediately melted on firing, and the spray of hot wax is what puts holes in the pane of glass. Meanwhile, both performers use misdirection to pop the specially manufactured signed bullets out of their shells, concealing them in their mouths, only to reveal them after shooting. Number 3. The Guillotine. The upper part of the apparatus is identical to those used in actual beheadings. However, the lower part is a fake. Tiny stop blocks prevent the blade from actually reaching the magician's neck, and a trapdoor in the table allows the magician's head and shoulders to drop out of sight as the blade strikes. A shell in the magician's coat makes his body appear to remain on the table when he drops below, and a second panel supported by his neck drops with him to create the illusion that the blade has passed through the hole where his neck was previously secured. The head pulled from the box in front of the guillotine is, of course, a fake, but it's swiftly switched with the magician's real head when he reappears from under the table and moves his head and opens his eyes, to the shock of the audience. Number 2. David Blaine's card through the window trick. After a volunteer selected a card, showed it around except to the magician, and then mixed it back into the deck, Blaine would hurl the cards at a nearby plate glass window. The cards would fall to the ground, but one would appear to stick to the window. Closer investigation would reveal that it was actually on the other side of the glass. The trick requires a second person who would stand on the other side of the glass with a similar deck of cards. The person sees the card displayed by the volunteer and pastes it onto the glass while the audience are distracted by Blaine. Number 1. Death Saw. David Copperfield. The magician lies flat on a board as a saw blade swings towards him. The blade bisects him in half, only for his assistants to push the 2 halves back together, and Copperfield reappears unscathed. Despite the elaborate staging, this trick is actually one of the most primitive on the list. Where Copperfield appears to lie flat on his stomach, he actually folds his leg tightly underneath his body, concealed in a hidden compartment in the front half of the board. His legs are actually those of an assistant, whose body is concealed in the rear half of the board and whose legs are sticking in the air for the audience to see. The 2 performers synchronize their movements in such a way that they convincingly constitute a single body. When the 2 halves are reunited, the accomplice must remove his legs in absolute unison with Copperfield's emergence to prevent the audience from suspecting. Thanks for watching. Don't forget we're on Twitter. You should definitely follow us.